Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate. Feels crazy that we're saying that again, but the NBA slate for Tuesday, December 22nd. We got opening night on Tuesday, two game slate. I'm so excited, man, that the NBA's back. I've been dying to have a sport that I can play every day. I love playing NFL. It's an awesome sport to sweat. I love, just chilling at the house on Sundays watching football, but I've definitely missed the daily grind of having something to play every day. Excited the NBA's back. Definitely my favorite sport overall. It does really well on my channel. You guys, killed it last year with the NBA content. All my videos were getting so many views, so many likes. Hopefully, I'll be able to provide some really good NBA content once again this year. Just real quick, for those of you that may be new here, I do make NBA videos daily. I will be making videos daily this season, at least Monday through Friday, but I do expect to get videos up on the weekend as well. I'll do a quick position-by-position breakdown of, the guys I'm liking at each position. These will always be first-look videos. I will always record these videos the night before. I will have more up-to-date content that will be available on Patreon. For those of you that are new, I do have a Patreon that I don't really talk about too much, but it is something that I do take a lot of, I take a lot of time in it. I do, put a lot of work into the content I provide on Patreon. I have a lot to offer over there. It is very affordable, only $20 per month. You can see all that I do have to offer on Patreon if you just want to check it out. It's linked down below in the description. Get you access to all content that I provide there for every sport. So $20 a month will get you all of my NFL, NBA, and MLB content, along with our Discord chat. We do have a Discord chat with about 150 members in there, talking DFS throughout the day for NFL, for NBA. When MLB gets here, obviously there'll be people in there talking MLB as well. You can go on Patreon, see that all that I do have to offer. You can see, what I provide for each sport. For NBA, obviously we'll discuss, my position-by-position breakdown. So this is something I'm changing up a little bit this year. Rather than doing, 5 or 6 guys with, a couple paragraphs on why I'm looking to target them, I want to have more players in my article, in my player pool, I guess. Basically list off my player pool for the day, give some quick notes, maybe 1, 2, 3 sentences on why I'm looking to target those players. The guys I have the most interest in, I'll kind of, I'll list the players from the ones I'm most interested in to least interested. I'll do that for each position. Also, I will update these throughout the day. So, that is something that's very important for NBA. Updates throughout the day. Late adjustments are always made, like starting lineups. Once starting lineups get announced, especially with it being the beginning of the year, starting lineups may not be the same from what they were last year. So it's going to be very important to adjust our lineups to how starting lineups come out. Plus, with NBA, it's always a sport where late injuries just come out of nowhere. Guys will get ruled out, right before lock, especially with it being, COVID season. Guys are going to get test positive for COVID 2-3 hours before the game starts. We'll have to make adjustments to our lineup. So that'll be something that I update, throughout the day. I'll post that most likely 5 days a week, but I'll try and post it every single day if I can, especially Monday through Friday, though. I will for sure have my player pool, my position-by-position breakdown posted on Patreon, but I'll try and get some on the weekend as well. And then my core plays, I will post those every single day. It's what you see on YouTube. It'll be 5 guys, except, on Patreon, I'm going to update that, obviously, as injury news comes out, which, like I said, is very important. My first look videos, for those of you that watch my videos on YouTube, obviously, I appreciate you guys so much supporting the YouTube channel. But if you do want to take that extra step, you want to see more that I have to offer, maybe get access to my updated content, my updated plays, that will be available on Patreon. You will get access to my updated core plays as well. And like I said, our Discord chat you can join. Once you sign up for the Patreon, I'll send you a link on Patreon with the link to join the Discord. So be sure to check out the Patreon. I always forget to mention that, but it's something that I do take a lot of pride in. Check it out, link down below, $20 per month. See all that I do have to offer over there. But yeah, guys, let's take a look at Tuesday slate, 2-gamer. We'll break it down at each position, give an early core, kind of 5 guys I'm really liking as of, Monday afternoon when I'm making this video. But yeah, let's go ahead and start off at point guard. So at the top, we got LeBron as our most expensive point guard, $9,600 on DK. He is coming in at $49 over on Yahoo. So LeBron is someone that I don't think I'm going to be as interested in on this slate as maybe some other people. I think I'd probably rank him behind Anthony Davis right now, probably rank him behind Steph Curry as well. And even Kyrie coming in cheaper, I think I'd prefer over LeBron. LeBron, he's going to be a usage monster. Him and AD should once again have over 30% usage every game, just about. I mean, last season, both of them had over 30% usage last year. it was basically LeBron and AD would just carry the load for the Lakers every night. And then the secondary guys, what are you going to get from the secondary guys? That was always a big question. But we knew what we were going to get from LeBron. Most games, this guy's giving you 45, 50 Draftkings points. He will have those ceiling games where he puts up, 65, 70. The minutes should be there, although with it being, a new season, these guys didn't get a ton of rest during the offseason. Maybe we'll see minutes not be as high to begin the year, but I would still expect LeBron to play, 32, 34 minutes, maybe a little bit more if the game is close, which this game should be against the Clippers. The Clippers have good defenders like PG, like Kawhi, but LeBron, he's matchup proof. I mean, nobody's going to slow LeBron down one-on-one. I do have interest in LeBron, obviously on a 2-game slate, but I think straight up I would prefer Steph Curry. Steph Curry was a guy that I played a ton last year, pretty much whenever he was healthy. The 5 games he was healthy last year, I'm pretty sure I played him every slate that he was healthy. Because Curry, like last year, with no Clay, with him being out all season, Draymond was kind of banged up. Like Curry, he's going to be a usage monster, especially because Kevin Durant's no longer on this team, and Kevin Durant obviously was not with the Warriors last year. When Curry was healthy, he did have some big games. He had that 55-point game against the Pelicans, 40 against OKC, 42 against Toronto. Obviously, his minutes weren't very high because he was, dealing with injury restrictions, but he's been healthy. He's had time to heal up. He obviously played really well in the preseason. He was playing, good minutes in the preseason as well. Most recent preseason game, he did play 29 minutes. So in the regular season, I would expect we probably get mid to low 30s, like 32, 34 minutes from Curry here. Brooklyn, I expect, is going to be a team that plays really fast this year. They were already like a top 10 team in pace last season. Brooklyn was 10th in pace last year. Now they have Kyrie and KD back. I expect them to be a pretty fast-paced team. I think this game definitely is going to be probably the higher scoring game between the two. Right now, it does have the higher total by 7 points. I really like Steph Curry. I think at 9,300, he's one of my favorite stud options, at least as of now. Definitely looking to get him in at point guard. Thinks right now I prefer him over LeBron, and I do prefer him over Kyrie. On DraftKings, I like the savings you get dropping down to Kyrie. Now, like on Yahoo, Kyrie and Curry are both $44. I think I'd just rather play Curry there. It'll be interesting to see, though, how Kyrie plays with Kevin Durant. Obviously, Kevin Durant was on the Nets last year, but he was injured, so he didn't play at all. Now Kevin Durant's fully healthy. We're going to have to see how, these guys play alongside each other. When Kyrie was healthy last season, I mean, the dude was a beast. He had massive games, even playing alongside Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie. Like, Kyrie was still the number one guy for this Brooklyn team. Obviously, Kevin Durant is a high-usage player, a guy that's going to demand the ball, but I still expect Kyrie to be close to what he was last year, if not a little bit better. This Brooklyn offense should be very efficient with these two guys running the show. I just think I feel better about Curry's usage. I just think Curry's just going to have to take 20, 30 shots a game. I mean, the ball is going to be in Steph Curry's hands a ton, especially because Draymond Green is not expected to play. No Klay Thompson. It's going to be Curry, Wiggins, and Ubrey just running the show for this Golden State team, at least to start off the season. And Curry, I just think is going to be a usage monster. So I do give him the edge over Kyrie, but I think at 8,500, I do like those savings you get dropping down to Kyrie. I just think straight up, I'd rather go to Steph Curry. I probably would rank Kyrie over LeBron, though, factoring in Kyrie is over $1,000 less. But Draymond, not expected to play for the season opener. They've already come out and said that he is doubtful. He's not expected to play, so we won't really touch on him. We will touch on, though, who is impacted by him being out. Spencer Dinwiddie at 6K. Probably not going to be someone I really get to. With Kyrie healthy now, with Kevin Durant healthy, Karis LeVert healthy, how many minutes is Spencer Dinwiddie going to play? Is he going to start? We don't really know yet. This will be something we do need to monitor on Tuesday heading up to lock. It'll be interesting to see if the Nets go with Dinwiddie, LeVert. I don't expect both of them start. I think you're probably going to see, I would say the most likely starting lineup for the Nets is going to be Kyrie, Joe Harris, LeVert, KD, and then one of Jared Allen or DeAndre Jordan. I think it's unlikely Dinwiddie and LeVert start together. If Dinwiddie comes off the bench, his usage might be a little higher coming off the bench, but is he going to play big minutes? Probably not. I think at 6K, he'll be someone that I pass on here. Honestly, I think I'd rather play Dennis Schroeder. There have already been talks that Dennis Schroeder is going to have a chance, or he might have a chance to start for this Lakers team. It'll be interesting to see if they go with LeBron at point guard or if they do let Dennis Schroeder start. If Schroeder starts, I mean, this is a guy that when he was healthy with the Thunder last year, obviously in the playoffs, his usage kind of went down, but this was a guy that when he came off the bench with the Thunder last season, he did show plenty of upside, could put up 35, close to 40 DK points really any night. I don't know what his minutes are going to look like with this Lakers team, but I assume he probably plays, especially if he starts. I assume he gets around 30 minutes, if not a little bit more. At 5,800, I do like Dennis Schroeder. Obviously, he's going to lose usage playing alongside LeBron and AD, but for 5,800, if we're going to get 30 minutes from Schroeder in the starting lineup, I do have interest in him. I do prefer him over Spencer Dinwiddie, at least as of now. We'll just need to keep an eye on the Lakers starting lineup, the Nets starting lineup. I don't know if we'll get the Lakers one before lock because, that's a 10 o'clock game. It's the late night game. But we will definitely have the Nets starting lineup before lock, and we can make adjustments if needed if Dinwiddie winds up starting. But Lou Williams for 5,400, someone I rarely played last season, especially towards the end of the year, like in the playoffs, because he just wasn't getting the minutes. Now that it's the regular season, it's a new year. Will Lou Williams' minutes be a little bit higher? It's quite possible, but at 5,400, I think I feel a little bit better about Dennis Schroeder, especially if he starts. I still expect Lou to probably play mid-20s, upper 20s in minutes, but still, he's playing alongside Kawhi Leonard. He's playing alongside Paul George. Obviously, Montrezl Harrell is no longer on this team, but the Clippers did still make some additions. They got, Serge Ibaka. They did get Nicholas Batum. They got some other bench guys, Luke Kennard. Lou's going to get his usage off the bench, but he's still going to play alongside Kawhi or PG. One of those two guys I assume will be on the floor at all times alongside Lou Williams. I probably would just rather go to someone like Dennis Schroeder, who I think has a little bit more upside and probably plays a few more minutes as well, especially if he winds up starting. Now, Reggie Jackson I don't really have interest in, but I do like Patrick Beverley as a value play. I am assuming that Patrick Beverley sticks in the starting lineup. He did start towards the end of the year. Last year when they were in the playoffs, he was their starting point guard when he was healthy. Patrick Beverley is never someone you're going to feel confident in. But if the guy's going to start and play around 30 minutes, which I assume will be the case, at 4,400, he has the potential to, hit somewhat of a ceiling. He can get you 30 Draftkings points in 30 minutes. He's one of those guys that, he's not going to do a lot of one thing, but he's going to do a little bit of everything. Going to give you a little bit of points, a little bit of rebounds, some assists. He'll get those defensive stats as well. We know Patrick Beverley is a very pesky defender. I do like him at 4,400. Value is tough on these two-game slates, and, we do have some punt plays that are viable, but I think right now Beverley looks like a pretty solid value, assuming he sticks in that Clippers starting lineup, which will be the case most likely. I like him at 4,400 on DK. He's minimum salary on Yahoo, so if you're looking to punt point guard, or if you want to play like Curry and Beverley together, I do like that quite a bit. I think, $10-wise, like minimum salary guys on Yahoo, Beverley easily looks like one of the better minimum salary guys over there, especially because steals and blocks are worth 3 points on Yahoo, and we know Beverley will pick up a lot of those. But really, that's probably it for point guard. I don't really see anyone else I want to go to. Bruce Brown, Brooklyn picked him up over the offseason. He was really good last year with the Pistons when he got minutes, but what are his minutes going to look like on this Brooklyn team? We don't really know. Tough to go there, I think, at 3,700. Caruso is going to lose minutes with Schroeder on this team now. Rondo's no longer on the team, but they got Schroeder, and Schroeder should probably start and play 28 to 30 minutes, so I don't really have interest in Caruso. Plus, THT has been playing so well in the preseason that, he could maybe even play over Caruso. Really, I think that's it for point guard. So, moving on to shooting guard now, you got Kawhi Leonard at the top for 9,100. I think same thing can be said for Kawhi as I said for LeBron. I think I'd just rather play Curry, would rather play AD, who we'll talk about. I think Curry and AD are my favorite pay-up options right now. Even Kyrie for a little bit cheaper, I'd rather go to. Kawhi still has to share the ball with Paul George. He was great last year, especially in the postseason, and, late in the postseason, he was just an absolute animal, posting 50, 60, 70 DK points just about on a nightly basis, playing monster minutes. Obviously, he's not going to play 40 minutes during the regular season, but we should still get, probably 32, 34 minutes from Kawhi. I just don't think I want to go there. I think, there's other studs I'd rather pay up for that I think get more usage, maybe play a few more minutes. Kawhi's a beast, but I'd probably rather get to AD, rather get to Curry as well. Paul George at 7,800, I do have some interest in. I like the savings you get dropping down from Kawhi to PG, especially on Yahoo. Like on Yahoo at shooting guard, Paul George is the most expensive shooting guard over there, but he's only $31. He's not that expensive when you compare him to some of the other studs. And really, if you just look at the shooting guard position as a whole, once you get past Lou Williams, there's not really anyone else I feel confident in at shooting guard. There's no punt plays I really like here. Maybe Wesley Matthews for minimum salary, but, you got PG, you got Andrew Wiggins, LeVert, Schroeder, and Lou Will. Really, after that, there's not really anyone else I'm confident in. So I think paying up for PG at $31 makes a lot of sense. I do like him on DK as well at 7,800. Like PG last year, there was talks that, this guy can't really shoot the ball, this and that, but, when he's healthy and when he's playing big minutes, which should be the case here, I mean, the guy is he's going to be good for fantasy. He can contribute with defensive stats. We know that. He's going to score. He's going to grab some rebounds. He can get some he can get some assists along with defensive stats. He's not going to play 39, 40 minutes like he was in the postseason last year, but probably should get 32, 34 minutes from Paul George as well. At 7,800, I do like him. I think given the savings, I'd actually prefer him over Kawhi Leonard. Andrew Wiggins probably won't be going there. I think I'd rather get up to Paul George. Playing alongside Curry, Wiggins is definitely going to lose a lot of usage. When he got traded to the Warriors, he wasn't a guy that was really playing when he was with Golden State. Even when, he was like the only healthy guy, like Draymond was out, Clay was out, Steph was out last year. It was really just Wiggins running the show last season with a bunch of scrubs for the Warriors, and he still wasn't a guy that I really felt like I had to play on a nightly basis. Like he'd have those random big games, but he also had still like a pretty low floor. You would definitely see Wiggins disappoint at times. I expect the Warriors offense to be much more efficient this year, but in terms of Wiggins and his usage, he's going to lose usage now that Curry's healthy. Now they have Kelly Oubre. Probably won't be going to Wiggins at 7K. I think I'd just rather get up to PG. Karis LeVert, kind of the same thing. With Kyrie healthy, with KD healthy, LeVert's just more of a secondary option for me, not a guy I'm going to have, a ton of exposure to. Same with like Joe Harris as well. Like, I really don't think these secondary Brooklyn guys are going to be guys I really look to get a lot of exposure to, just because I think Kyrie and KD are going to demand so much usage that you're not going to see much from, Joe Harris, at least not at 4,800. Joe Harris might make 4 or 5 threes and get like 15 points, a couple rebounds, a couple assists, but at 4,800, is that enough to where you feel like you have to play him? Probably not. You can probably look elsewhere. KCP should continue to start for this Lakers team. Never a guy you feel confident in, but if he's going to start and play mid to low 30s minutes, I mean, for 4,200 on a slate with minimal value, I think KCP, someone you could look to. Maybe Wes Matthews, if he starts. It'll be interesting to see who starts for the Lakers. I assume it'll be KCP. Like, I assume their starting lineup will probably be, obviously, LeBron and AD will be in there. I think Marc Gasol will probably start at center. Schroeder may start at point guard, but then will it be Wes Matthews or will it be KCP at the 2? We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, Wes Matthews, someone you never feel confident in, but playing alongside LeBron, I mean, we know LeBron he demands so much on the defensive end. You have to, put so many defenders on him that he can always kick out to a guy like Wes Matthews. Like, we've seen guys that can shoot and can make threes, can be good in a LeBron James-led offense because LeBron can just kick it out to them. Wes Matthews can make 5, 6 threes pretty much any night on this Lakers team. 3,800 could be a value play, not the worst punt play overall, but really, I think that's it for shooting guard. I think we covered the position, so let's move on to small forward. Looking at guys I haven't talked about yet, Kelly Oubre is someone that I do have interest in, mainly on Yahoo. I think talking about Yahoo's pricing, if you look over there at the small forward position, it is really, really gross. You have Kawhi at the top for 46. You have Ubrey in the mid-range for 21, and then you have Harris for 15, Kennard for 12, Kuzma for 12, and then like just some punt options, Bazemore, KCP. But really, like, there's not a ton of guys you're going to feel too confident in at small forward. So I think at $21, Kelly Oubre definitely looks like a strong play over there. I mean, last year when he was with the Suns, Ubrey was consistently putting up 30, 40 fantasy points a night. Things may be different this year with Golden State playing alongside Curry, playing alongside Wiggins, but he was still playing alongside, Ricky Rubio and Devin Booker when he was with the Suns, and he was contributing, pretty well, putting up 30, 35 fantasy points a night. At only $21, and I'm most likely going to be played like a fast-paced game. I mean, Ubrey has the upside to get 30, 35 fantasy points. I think he looks like one of the better small forwards on Yahoo, especially when you just factor in the scarcity at the position and just the minimal options that you have. Sure, you could pay up for Kawhi, but I think I'd rather spend on other guys and just go to Ubrey in the mid-range. I do like Ubrey a lot at $21 on Yahoo. Don't mind him either on DK, but more of a Yahoo play as of now. Kyle Kuzma for $5,500 I think is just too expensive for me. When LeBron and AD are healthy, Kuzma's going to play 22, 25 minutes off the bench at most. He's going to have to hit like 5, 6 threes. He's just going to have to get hot. And at $5,500, like, that's just too expensive to pay for Kuzma. If I was going to play him anywhere, it would be on Yahoo where he's $12. Really don't see myself going there on Draftkings. Marcus Morris, that is another big injury we're going to have to watch. He's currently listed as questionable. I assume if Morris plays that he starts. He was their starter last year. He was their starting power forward last year. They signed him to like a really big contract during the offseason. So if he starts, or if he plays, I assume he starts. Sure, he's fine, but for 5,100, we saw last year. I mean, Marcus Morris doesn't really have much upside for fantasy in this Clippers offense, just because he's playing alongside Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, who just are going to demand the ball, going to demand usage. But we'll have to talk about the value plays. So if Marcus Morris winds up out, that could bring in some potential value. I don't really know who would start in the case that Morris was out. It could be Nicholas Batum. It could be Patrick Patterson. They also have Luke Kennard, who they picked up during the offseason. One of those three guys could wind up starting for Marcus Morris if he winds up out. Really, in my opinion, I think I'm just going to play the guy that starts just because I would feel the most confident in their minutes. And during the preseason, I believe it was Nicholas Batum who was starting in place of Marcus Morris. Yeah, I believe he did start in their most recent preseason game. And it says right here in the blurb, I didn't really pay attention much during the preseason, but it says he had 9 points, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a rebound and a block across 21 minutes in their preseason game. He did start with Marcus Morris out. So if Marcus Morris does not play and Nicholas Batum starts at 4,100, when he was with the Hornets, this was not a guy we were really playing much in DFS, but now that he's on a different team, maybe things will be a little bit different for Nicholas Batum. If Morris is out, I think he could be a value play worth considering at 4,100. I think he's minimum salary on Yahoo as well, so he would be a punt play I would have some interest in. If it winds up being like Luke Kennard, though, then Luke Kennard at 3,600 could be a value play. We'll just have to keep an eye on the status of Marcus Morris. If he starts, or if he plays, I assume he starts. Probably don't have much interest in him, but if he's out, that'll definitely bring in some potential value with the two guys I mentioned. But let's go ahead and move on to power forward now. So at power forward, definitely at the top here, Anthony Davis, one of my favorite pay-up options on the slate overall. Love him on both sides. $45 on Yahoo, coming in at $10K on Draftkings. So AD, some people are saying the AD he should be, like in season long, he should be the number 1 pick overall. I'm expecting a big year from Anthony Davis. I mean, he was awesome last season in the regular season and in the postseason. He was playing big minutes in the postseason, and, I don't expect much to change this year. Maybe at the start he won't be playing massive minutes, but, when he's fully healthy, when he's got more action in, we're going to see AD playing 36, 38 minutes a night. The guy was a usage monster last season, even playing alongside LeBron. Had over a 30% usage rate, averaged like 1.4, 1.5 fantasy points per minute. I can't exactly remember on the top of my head, but the minutes are going to be there. He's a stud. I don't expect really anyone on this Clippers team to slow him down. I mean, last year, I think AD had some big games against the Clippers. I know he had some bad games, but he also had some really big games against them. AD is just matchup proof. No one's going to slow him down. He's going to be a usage monster this year. He's going to play the minutes. He's the guy that I like most at power forward. I do prefer him over Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, when healthy, is one of the best players in the league overall, but obviously with him coming off an Achilles injury, maybe we could see a little bit of limitations on him at the beginning of the year. He was playing, I believe, around mid-20s minutes during the preseason. I can't exactly remember in their most recent preseason game how many minutes he played, but now that it's the regular season, are they going to give him 36 minutes? I don't know. I'm a bit worried about KD. We'll have to see how he does playing alongside Kyrie. I think I feel better about Anthony Davis, who we know is going to be a usage monster, going to probably average 30 and 10, going to give you defensive stats. Most games, you're getting 50, 60 Draftkings points from Anthony Davis, whereas Kevin Durant, we could maybe see come off to a little bit of a slow start this year. Maybe he's not as efficient. Just don't know if he's someone I want to pay $9,800 for when I can get Anthony Davis for only $200 more, who I do feel much more confident in. But other guys at power forward, I think Montrezl Harrell in tournaments makes some sense. Never a guy you probably want to play in cash games just because you never really know what you're going to get from Montrezl Harrell. But now that he's on the Lakers, maybe his role will be a little bit different, or it should be different, I would say. Last year with the Clippers, we saw during the regular season he would have some big games, but during the postseason in the playoffs, they kind of tailed away from Montrezl Harrell. They didn't really use him much. He wasn't really playing big minutes, just mid-teens, upper teens in minutes. With this Lakers team now, even if he comes off the bench, I think Montrezl Harrell will probably see mid-20s in minutes on a nightly basis. He's a guy that when he plays, man, the dude's productive. He scores, he rebounds, he can get a few defensive stats as well. At 5,300, if he plays 25 minutes, I mean, Montrezl Harrell can easily score 30-plus Draftkings points against his former team in a revenge game. I do like Montrezl Harrell quite a bit. Probably not an optimal core play, not a guy I would consider in cash. I mean, at that price tag, I guess maybe he could be used in cash games, but I think there's other guys I'd rather go to, at the center position. We'll talk about Serge Ibaka, who I do like a lot. at that same price range. But, Montrezl Harrell for 5,300, definitely someone I have a lot of interest in that 5K range. Would greatly prefer him over Kuzma. Would greatly prefer Harrell over Marcus Morris as well, assuming that he plays. Markieff Morris, on the other side, really have no interest in. Just not a guy I want to pay 4,300 for. Not going to play enough minutes. Like I said earlier, if Marcus Morris is out and Batum starts, 4,100, I like him a lot as a value. But with Draymond Green doubtful, not expected to play, I am assuming that Eric Paschall gets the start in place of Draymond Green. Pascal's not a guy that you would expect to do a ton playing alongside Curry, Wiggins, and Ubrey. But, last year, obviously, things were different. The Warriors, they were just kind of taking. They didn't really have guys that could score. I mean, Pascal was consistently playing big minutes a night just because they were looking to see what they could get from him. Draymond was constantly out last season. We saw Pascal be priced like around the 5K range last year. Obviously, now that he's 3,800, you're thinking you're getting like an amazing value play. And while I do think Pascal's a really good value, I wouldn't expect 30-plus DK points from him like you got last year. Things are definitely different now with Curry healthy, with Wiggins, still healthy, with Ubrey on the team now. But if we're going to get, mid-20s, low 30s in minutes from Eric Paschall, if he starts in place of Draymond, I mean, at 3,800, he's probably one of the better punt plays overall. Like, there's not a ton of great punt value under 4K, but assuming that Paschall does start, which should be the case, he's going to look like one of the better value plays on the slate. I like him a lot on DK at 3,800. Now, on Yahoo, it's a bit of a different story because he's not as cheap over there. He's actually $19 on Yahoo. I don't think I'm going to be getting to a ton of Paschall at that price, but on Draftkings, where he's 3,800, with Draymond not expected to play and Paschall most likely getting the start, Paschall at 3,800 looks like a really good value play overall. But I think that's it for power forward. Let's go ahead and hit on the center position real quick, guys, before we do end the video. So at center, we got the two Brooklyn guys at the top. Jared Allen, 6,200. DeAndre Jordan, 5,600. So this is a wait and see for me. We don't exactly know who's going to be the starting center for the Nets. We saw them start Allen at the beginning of the year, and then towards the middle part of the season, they went away from Allen and actually started DeAndre Jordan. Like, we don't really know who's going to be the starter. If it's Jared Allen, he's fine to go to at 6,200, but I think we're going to see a pretty even split in minutes between DJ and between Allen. I would say I would give the edge to whoever starts. Like, if it's Allen who starts, he probably plays maybe 26 minutes and Jordan gets 22. But I don't think either guy is going to be like, guys I want to really build around on this slate. Overall, if I have to play one, I'm going to prefer the guy that starts. But, I think I'd rather get to Montrezl Harrell. I think I'd rather play Serge Ibaka as well, or I would definitely rather play Serge Ibaka. So I am expecting Serge Ibaka to start at center. They had Zubac as their starter last year, but I'm expecting Ibaka to take over that starting center role and for Zubac to be the backup. Obviously, with no Montrezl Harrell, Zubac probably kind of plays that Montrezl Harrell role, maybe doesn't see as many minutes. I'm expecting Ibaka to play probably mid to upper 20s in minutes, and when this guy is on the court, he's going to do a lot. He's going to score. He can grab rebounds. We know he's a great shot blocker. He's not going to get a ton of usage playing alongside Kawhi and playing alongside PG, but Ibaka isn't really a guy that needs to take 20 shots to kind of pay off his price tag. I mean, he can get there on 6-7 field goal attempts. Like, he can double-double with 4 blocks pretty much any night, and at 5,200, that's a really good price tag on Ibaka if he's going to be starting and playing around 30 minutes, which I assume will be the case. He looks like one of the better center plays as of now. Definitely looks like my favorite play overall at the position. So I like Ibaka a lot at 5,200 and only $21 on Yahoo. I think he's the center that I'm going to have the most exposure to overall. But I do like Montrezl Harrell, who we talked about. Zubac I have no interest in now that Ibaka is healthy, or now that Ibaka is on the team. Zubac's just not going to get the minutes. We'll have to see who starts at center for the Warriors. They said it could be James Wiseman. They said it could be Kevon Looney. This will just kind of be a wait and see. Really, who starts between the two, I think that's a guy that I'm going to have interest in. Looney feels a little bit overpriced at 5,200, but, the guy can contribute when he gets the minutes. We just don't know what his minutes are going to look like. I think Wiseman gives you more upside just because he's a younger player. He's more athletic. He's a guy that you would expect they start later on in the season. Like, Steve Kerr's already come out and said that he will be the Warriors starting center before too long. That could mean he starts here. That could be maybe he starts in a week or 2 weeks. I'm expecting Wiseman to be the center that the Warriors kind of build around, though, that, is kind of their center rest of season. But at the beginning of the year, maybe they go with the veteran, the guy that's been on the team longer. Maybe they go with Kevon Looney. Either way, we'll have to wait and see who starts at center for the Warriors between Looney and Wiseman. Whichever one gets the start, I think is the more interesting guy to target overall. But I think that's probably it for center guys. Like Marc Gasol is probably going to start for the Lakers, but in terms of his fantasy value, is he going to have much fantasy value? He didn't have much last year with the Raptors. Now that the Lakers have Montrezl Harrell, I think, Gasol is probably going to play a similar role for this Lakers team. He's probably going to start and play like 20, 22 minutes and really not be a guy we consider much for DFS, especially not at 4,700. Definitely would rather play James Wiseman for only $200 more, who probably has way more upside. But yeah, I mean, Marquise Chris could maybe get some minutes with Draymond out, but I assume, at least as of now, Looney and Wiseman are both ahead of Chris, so probably wouldn't even go there. But yeah, guys, I think we covered each position. I think we broke everything down for this 2-game slate. I know I talked for a long time, but I want to try and give you guys as much information as possible. I do take a lot of time, a lot of effort into these YouTube videos. I know they're free to watch, but I still try and put in a lot of time and effort into my YouTube videos. And obviously, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm putting a lot of time and effort into my content on Patreon as well. So if you want to check that out, it's linked down below in the description. You can see all that I do have to offer over on Patreon. Get access to all of my content for every sport, NFL, NBA, MLB. Also get access to our Discord chat where, we're talking DFS throughout the day 24/7. So check all that out. Link down below in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the like button before you do get out of here. Hit the subscribe button as well. Click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. And yeah, guys, good luck on Tuesday night slate. So excited the NBA's back. Ready to be grinding this sport every day again. It's probably my favorite sport overall to play. Hope you guys win some money. Good luck. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.